With Norbert safely bundled up, Harry set off for the tallest tower. He hoped that the cloak would conceal him from Filch and his cat, Mrs. Norris. Back in their Gryffindor common room, Harry, Ron and Hermione talked about their exciting first days at Hogwarts. But there was little time for idle chatter, since Harry and his friends were expected shortly at their flying lesson with Madame Hooch. Following flying lessons, Harry returned to the common room and prepared for charms with Professor Flitwick. It was still Harry's first week at Hogwarts, and there was much to learn. Later that day, as owls flooded into the great hall, Harry received a long, thin package. It contained a note from McGonagall explaining her gift. A sleek and shiny Nimbus 2000 broomstick. Harry couldn't wait to try it out during the Quidditch match against Slytherin. Harry Potter, the youngest Seeker in the history of Hogwarts, had won the Quidditch match. The Gryffindors spilled onto the field and joyfully lifted Harry onto their shoulders. Harry couldn't remember ever feeling happier. Thanks to Harry's skill as a Seeker, Gryffindor won the Quidditch match against Ravenclaw. Unable to contain themselves, the victorious Gryffindors hoisted Harry onto their shoulders and carried him off the field. Exhausted from their encounter with the troll, Harry, Ron and Hermione returned to the Gryffindor common room and discussed the strange goings-on at Hogwarts. They suspected Snape had something to do with the mountain troll, but between lessons and Quidditch practice, there wasn't much time left to dwell on Professor Snape. Harry was too busy preparing for the second Quidditch match against Ravenclaw. Hermione, Ron and Harry researched the secret of the Sorcerer's Stone. It could produce the elixir of life, a potion that would make anyone immortal. No wonder Snape's after it. Anyone would want it, said Harry. Harry was saddened to discover a dead unicorn in a clearing. Then, out of the shadows, a hooded figure came crawling across the ground. It lowered its head over the wound on the animal's side and began to drink its blood. The hooded creature got to its feet. It moved swiftly towards Harry. A terrible pain pierced the young wizard's head. Half blinded, Harry staggered back and fell to his knees. Harry unwrapped the unexpected Christmas present. Something fluid and silvery slithered out. "It's an invisibility cloak," said Ron. "They're very rare." There was a note with the cloak. "Your father left this in my possession," Harry read. "Use it well. A very Merry Christmas to you." Harry tried on the cloak, while Ron and Hermione helped him prepare for the climb up the tower. "Be careful, Harry," said Hermione. "You can't stay invisible while you cast spells. Filch might see you." Hagrid took Harry to Diagon Alley to purchase a most unusual list of school supplies. While at Gringotts Wizard Bank, Hagrid collected a scruffy package from Vault 713, mentioning to Harry that the package, whatever it was, would be safer at Hogwarts. Dumbledore stood up. "This term, the corridor on the 3rd floor is out of bounds to everyone who does not wish to suffer a most painful death." Back in their Gryffindor common room, Harry, Ron and Hermione talked about their exciting first days at Hogwarts. There was much talk about the break-in at Gringotts Wizard Bank, but there was little time to dwell on this, since Harry and his friends were expected at their flying lesson with Madame Hooch. Exhausted from their encounter with the troll, Harry, Ron and Hermione returned to the Gryffindor common room and discussed the strange goings-on at Hogwarts. Harry suspected that someone had released the troll to distract everyone so that they could get into the forbidden corridor. But there wasn't much time to think about who was behind this, especially since Harry was busy preparing for the second Quidditch match against Ravenclaw. Hermione suspected that the package Hagrid had taken from Gringotts contained the Sorcerer's Stone. It was the Sorcerer's Stone that was down the forbidden corridor, being guarded by whatever it was that had growled at them. Hermione, Ron and Harry researched the secret of the Sorcerer's Stone. It could produce the elixir of life, a potion that would make anyone immortal. "No wonder someone's trying to get it. Anyone would want it," said Harry. Harry was rescued in the nick of time by the centaur Firenze and rode on his back to safety. Firenze explained that unicorn blood had the power to keep someone alive who was an inch from death. Harry realized that the hooded figure he'd seen in the clearing was none other than he who must not be named, Lord Voldemort, and that it was he that was trying to get his hands on the Sorcerer's Stone. There was nothing about the starry sky that night to suggest that strange and mysterious things would soon be happening. As unsuspecting muggles slept, A huge motorbike with a giant astride it tumbled down from the darkness. The giant, named Hagrid, left a blanket-wrapped bundle on the doorstep of number 4 Privet Drive. Nestled in the bundle was a baby. For the next 11 years, Harry lived with his dreadful step-parents, the Dursleys, until that fateful day when he received the letter inviting him to attend Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Hagrid took Harry to Diagon Alley to purchase a most unusual list of school supplies. Harry sat beneath a sorting hat, hoping that he would not be chosen for Slytherin House over Gryffindor.
"Not Slytherin, eh?" said the hat in his ear. "You could be great. It's all here in your head, and Slytherin will help you on your way to greatness." "No? Well, if you're sure, it better be."
Reflected in the mirror of Erised were Harry's parents, James and Lily Potter. Harry stared hungrily back as though hoping to fall right through the glass and reach them. He was startled when a voice sounded behind him. Harry turned slowly about. "So you, like hundreds before you, have discovered the delights of the mirror of Erised," said Professor Dumbledore. He went on to explain that the mirror showed nothing more or nothing less than the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts, but that it would give neither knowledge nor truth. "The mirror of Erised will be moved to a new home shortly," Dumbledore went on, adding ominously that if Harry ever came across it again, he would be prepared. But prepared for what? thought Harry. Harry, Ron, and Hermione spent most of their free time in Hagrid's hut, trying to convince him that he couldn't keep Norbert, his beloved dragon. Eventually, after much coaxing, Hagrid agreed. That night, Harry carried Norbert up to the tallest tower. Ron's brother, Charlie, had arranged to collect the dragon from the tower and return him to Romania. Once Norbert had been freed, however, Malfoy sprang his trap. Harry was caught by Professor McGonagall. For his detention, Harry was to make his way into the Forbidden Forest and search for a wounded unicorn. Harry was rescued in the nick of time by the centaur Firenze and rode on his back to safety. Firenze explained that unicorn blood had the power to keep someone alive who was an inch from death. Harry realized that the hooded figure he'd seen in the clearing was none other than he who must not be named, Lord Voldemort. Dumbledore smiled. "What happened down in the dungeons between yourself and Professor Quirrell is a complete secret," he said. "So naturally, the whole school knows. The stone had been destroyed, but Harry remained fearful that its loss would not prevent Lord Voldemort's return." Dumbledore nodded, sharing his concern. "Nevertheless, Harry, if our battles do no more than slow Voldemort's return, with luck he may never regain his power at all." Harry made his way down to the end-of-the-year feast alone that night. The great hall was decked out in green and silver to celebrate Slytherin winning the House Cup. When Harry entered, there was a sudden hush. He took a seat between Ron and Hermione, trying to ignore the stares of the other students. "The House Cup," announced Dumbledore, "is awarded to the team with the most house points. At the moment, that would seem to be Slytherin." A storm of cheering and stamping broke out from the Slytherin table. "However," continued Dumbledore, "in recognition of Mr. Harry Potter's pure nerve and outstanding courage, I award Gryffindor 60 points. Harry's table erupted with cheers and applause. The additional point had won the House Cup for Gryffindor. It was the best evening of Harry's life. Better than winning at Quidditch or Christmas or knocking out mountain trolls. He would never, ever forget tonight." Harry awoke in the hospital wing, Madame Pomfrey at his bedside. "You were very lucky, Potter," she said gravely. "But I'm afraid you're going to be here for quite a while." "So the stone's gone," said Ron finally. Harry nodded and wished it good riddance. Then Ron produced a brand new famous witches and wizards card from his robes and handed it to Harry. "You've got the whole set now, Harry," Ron said. Harry was stunned. Ron went on to remind Harry of the Quidditch match that day. "Anyway," he said, "you haven't got time to sit around in here. We've got Slytherin to beat." Harry, still stunned by Ron's gift, nodded slowly. He'd just defeated you-know-who, and now he was going to have to help defeat Slytherin. Gryffindor! Soon after, Harry caught the Hogwarts Express from platform 9 3/4 and left the Muggle world far behind. Harry Potter, the boy who lived. Not Slytherin, eh? Said the hat in his ear. You could be great. It's all here in your head, and Slytherin will help you on your way to greatness. No? Well, if you're sure, better be